Go ahead.
Okay.
All right. So welcome, everyone. Today is Wednesday, September 21st. This is our All Lives Matter call with Dr. Alex Loyd, Dr. David Peck. I'll be assisting. And then before we hear from them today, and we're still waiting for Alex to join, I'm going to share this disclaimer. The presentation is for education and informational purposes only. And since we're going to be talking about issues of health and well-being, we wanted to make sure that you understand this information is not intended to heal or cure anything. Everything in the presentation are the opinions of Dr. Alex Loyd, Dr. David Peck, myself, or you if you choose to share. You should always check with a licensed healthcare provider about any specific health concerns you may have. All right, so that's our disclaimer. I don't see Alex yet, so let me text.
I could start it, Joanne.
Okay, go ahead. It's all yours.
Okay, so welcome everybody to the Picking Dr. Alex's Brain calls, otherwise previously known as the Dr. Peck confessional calls, no longer known as that. But no, it's a real pleasure for me. My name is David Peck. I'm a double board certified surgical critical care, was at Columbia University for 24 years, retired as an associate professor, was a physician scientist. So I was both a physician, seeing patients, as well as writing grants and doing research, reviewing literature, et cetera. Not related to healing code, but related to cornea and collagen tissue strengthening. But in any event, all that experience was enabled me to have the skills to not only evaluate science, but also be able to have relevance to clinical practice, since I was seeing patients also. But this all really changed for me because of my experience with the healing codes, and realizing that in many ways, I think our system we've missed the boat in many ways. And Alex and everyone that's following his work are proving, one by one, person by person, that an approach to prioritizing the healing and the limiting of that internal stress is primary, is the focus, and is what is the centerpiece of all the other things that happen downstream. And so I'm not sure if that made good sense, but I'm convinced, having personal experience and seeing the changes that occur in other people, where they were struggling with certain issues, and then suddenly, as a result of doing healing code and having this energetic shift, just looking at seeing dramatic changes in the person's, medication changes, etc., energy changes. And so I'm convinced part of the problem, of course, has been that he's up against a medical establishment, essentially, that it's not in their interest to see something like this work and be popularized, because it is so effective and it's so simple and it costs next to nothing. And so, but he's leading, I believe he's leading with his heart. And so that's where I also place myself, is that, that we believe in this, and we believe that it's helping people and that will help people. And, I do believe that awareness is already increasing in general, just from having conversations and seeing what the topics of discussion are with people in general, that people are more attuned now to exactly what we're talking about, the internal lies, the things that create stress for us that shouldn't be creating stress. And so, it's my honor and privilege to be hosting these with Alex. And, he likes to say that, we want to help 1 million to 1 billion people. Yeah, that's true. Absolutely. It's a matter of, it's part of what I believe is the great awakening that's occurring. And it's the awakening to ourselves as well, not only the truth and what's going on in the world, et cetera, but the truth in terms of our own programming. And I hear a lot of people talking now about programming and et cetera. And that's great to hear, because that's the key. Is one of the first key is the awareness. So once we start to realize, well, okay, I'm behaving this way because I'm being triggered, et cetera. Now, because of Alex and his discoveries, we have the tools that can actually do something about them. So now, instead of in the past where, oh yeah, I know what my issue is, blah, 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 but every time I'm in that same situation, I still feel the same way, of course, because it's an emotion. You're being triggered. You have no control over your emotions. Now we have the tools to say, listen, we can heal this stuff so that you don't get triggered anymore, and that your cortisol levels will normalize and your immune function will optimize, et cetera. So, it's I like to think of it as emotional slavery, actually incarceration, because you're a slave to your emotions. Something happens, you react. And so what we're doing, what happens as you heal these triggers, you are freed. You gain freedom. And so that's I like to call that, because it's I just it's more, for me, it's more graphic, because it really are, these emotions have a hold on us. They're leading us around all day, and it's not supposed to be like that. Something we're subject to everything around us. Things happen, oh okay, I get it, instead of, oh okay, things are happening, take it in stride, deal with it as it happens, in a responsive way. So that's my introduction. The topic for today, so I've been choosing the topics, and they're basically things that sort of come to mind during meditation, et cetera, that seem like to be relevant, and I try to make connections with categories that are listed in the Healing Codes manual, in order to really clarify what we're talking about, what the categories are and how they're relevant to actual, the actual manifestations of these heart issues. So a heart issue related to love manifests in so many different ways, and this is what we're sort of shining light on. Okay, so if the person, if there's gossiping, what is that? What's driving that? If there's, today, the topic for today was actually bitterness, the sourness kind of thing. And so, what's driving that? So yeah, that's the topic for today is bitterness or sourness. Now, I really was equating this. So I had to look it up in the Healing Code manual in order to find out what category it was related to. And I saw that it was related to patience. And the category of patience is usually related to right and wrong goals that create stress and frustration when they're not achieved, versus success goals that are sort of love and growth based, whereas you're not necessarily seeking an end result, but you're more involved in the process. But anyway, the bitterness, I believe, is more related to unforgiveness and resentment. And so this is where I was going to press the Dr. Alex play button. And oh, there he is. Okay, ready to press the buttons, because he's got mountains and mountains to say about this. And so, no, we were just talking about the bitterness. I just raised the bitterness point, so.
Hey man, you're doing great. Keep going.
Yeah, just my usual ramble, but no, it's all true, and there's so much hope, I believe, for everybody, honestly, to be able to get free. When you free yourself from that emotional bondage and get that freedom, and oh my God, just have the ability, then have the freedom to choose love, to choose to act in love. Without having that freedom, I believe you can say, oh yeah, I want to choose love, but But when that thing comes in that triggers you, you still can't get it control. You still gotta hate that. You still feel that way. But when you have that healing with the healing, et cetera, the healing code trilogy, then you're able to say, oh, you're balanced to the point where, yes, I can choose to do this. And the other point I wanted to say about choosing love, a couple of points I just wanted to make before passing it to Alex is, everybody has their own way of choosing love. And I know this goes without saying, but I just wanted to reiterate, when we choose love, actually being in somebody's face could be choosing love. And so that's the one point I wanted to make. Yeah. And then the last point I wanted to make, this is totally different topic, but I just had to say it before I pass it off to Alex, is, because I made some statements, controversial statements early on previously. And so I just wanted to qualify that. I made some statements about double entendre and innuendo and talking about sort of satanic deception, et cetera. I just wanted to clear the air by saying that I was reminded that also can be a beautiful form of a play on words. So I'm going to pass the play button to Alex. We're talking about bitterness or sourness and all lives matter and unforgiveness.
Okay, Dave. I really don't know how you keep doing this, but it seems like every week you're punching one of my biggest buttons in a good way, and bitterness. And this is confession time. When I was about 12 years old, my parents had a big blow up with my older brother who they were in business with. And it was horrible, and it exploded to the point that at that time, my oldest brother was my hero. I mean, in every way. He's old enough to be my dad, okay? I was an accident, so to speak. And he was the firstborn, and he was cool, he was good looking, he was slim and trim, great singer, great athlete, loved me to death, I loved him to death. But when he had this blow up with my parents when I was about 12 years old, it was absolutely horrible. It was so horrible, I did not see or speak to my brother for the next 40 years. And for about the next 10 years, starting when I was 12, my bedroom was next to my parents' bedroom in our home. And every single night for the next 10 years, I listened in bed as my mom cried herself to sleep over what had happened with my oldest brother. I mean, just weeping, moaning. It was every single night. And it had crushed me too. I don't blame her for a second. I mean, it crushed her, I think, more than anyone. But there was so much bitterness that my next oldest brother, who's 6 years older than me, got married during that time. And after they got married, his wife made a joke. She said, I don't know if you really loved me and wanted to marry me or just wanted to get out of the house, because the house was like constant yelling my parents at each other out of their grief and bitterness of what had happened with my brother and us and the family being exploded. My brother had the very first grandchild, who was about 3 years old at that time, who we adored, and he adored us. He called my dad Bobo. It was one of his favorite people. And it was just awful. I mean, by far, probably one of the biggest traumas of my life. And then the other one was me personally, and you already know all this if you've heard my other confessions, that I was short and fat and made fun of early in life and all that sort of thing. And people would make fun of me. They would yell at me across the schoolyard. Chunky was kind of my nickname to the people that wanted to make fun of me. And they would say, hey, Chunky. And I would look up and I would laugh. Yeah, that's funny. And then I'd go home and cry. And I think, David, to some degree at least, hated those people who made fun of me. And it was a bitterness, a bitter hatred. And the thing that was the worst, and I really realized this for the first time this week after you sent the topic and I started praying about it. The people that I hated the most were the other outcasts who made fun of me. The other kids that were fat or goofy or nerdy or something, and they were made fun of too. But some of them, trying to be popular, joined in with the cool kids that made fun of me. And that one just, Dave, it just burned me up inside that those other kids that were really my friends and in the same boat with me would make fun of me. When like I thought we were allies, we were outcast allies, okay? But evidently to them, that wasn't so. Now that wasn't all of them. I had some that did not do that, but oh my goodness, did that take me probably 2 decades to recover from those traumas. So bitterness has, and I don't mean this in a tongue-in-cheek, funny way, but bitterness has been the most bitter pill of my life for pretty much my whole life until the last 20 years after finding the healing codes and healing some of that stuff. So whatever you want to add to that, I mean, you already shared, I think, yours, Dave, but if you want to add anything to that, and then we can do the intervention and see if anyone else wants to chime in.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Do we have any questions, Johanna? Or?
Well, let's do the intervention first.
Intervention. Oh, interventions, right.
Yeah, and so, and I guess my advice on this, if I'm going to give advice, and that sounds kind of silly to me right now after confessing what I just confessed, to give you advice when I had all that junk in my life. But if you have any bitterness in your life at all, I mean, related to God, other people, yourself, some circumstance that happened, the government, Trump, Biden, you name it. If you have bitterness in your life, let me tell you, it will eat your lunch from the inside out. And you'll end up 10 years from now, if you don't address that with some disease or something, and that'll be where it came from. So bitterness is absolutely one of the biggest disease and illness sources there is. It's like extreme anger, extreme hatred, extreme whatever, in my opinion. So if you listen to this now or later on the podcast when it's posted, I would not let another day go by until you do some soul searching and see, do I have any bitterness toward anything? And if so, use the intervention we're about to give you, because let me tell you, there's not much on, I mean, maybe if you drink rat poison or something, but there's not much more dangerous than bitterness.
No, bitterness is unforgiveness, essentially, right?
That's right,
yeah.
but it's extreme. It's like
okay.
Unforgiveness plus.
Okay.
Okay, you want to start the intervention?
Yeah. I'll do the prayer if you can do the. Will you do the intervention? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So we pray that all destructive. We pray. We request that all destructive, negative cellular memories, unhealthy habits, any addictions, false limiting beliefs, any relationship issues related to the area of bitterness be found, opened, and healed through love, light, truth, and God.
Amen.
Amen.
Okay. Let's start with left hand temple, right hand Adam's apple. Left hand temple, right hand Adam's apple. Slow, deep breaths from the stomach. Don't try to make anything happen. Get out of the way and allow it to happen. Maybe say a little prayer to share your light, love, healing energy and receive light, love, healing energy. Let's go to both hands, Adam's apple, please. And yes, the opposite of bitterness is forgiveness, reconciliation, peace. I think those would be the main ones. Left hand jaw, right hand temple. Both hands bridge. Both hands Adam's apple. Left hand temple, right hand Adam's apple. Both hands jaws. Sorry about that. Left hand Adam's apple, right hand bridge. Okay, let's transition to trilogy and custom acupuncture points. And let's start with eyebrows, collarbones, side of the hand, temples, thumb, under the arms, under the nose, little finger, middle of the chest, index finger, under the eyes, sore spot, under the nipples, chin, under the arms, 9G. Eyes open, closed, open, eyes down to the left, down to the right, circle your eyes, circle back the other way. One, two, three, four, five. All right, let's go to left hand forehead, right hand brainstem. Going to stay here for about a minute. This is conscious, unconscious, subconscious, and ancestral mind, your entire mind all at the same time, pouring usable energy in there for truth and love to replace fear and falsehood. Or actually, fear and falsehood to be transformed into truth and love. It's just an energy pattern. Okay, let's activate governing and conception vessel 3 times, please. 3 times. If it hurts, you're pushing too hard. This calms the central nervous system, the river of energy flowing through the body that supplies all the acupuncture points and meridians and all kinds of, kind of like the Mississippi River feeding a bunch of other little streams and creeks. All right, now custom healing centers. Let's start with throat. Please open and harmonize. Again, if it hurts, you're pushing too hard. Middle of the stomach. Please open and harmonize. Base or root on the pubic bone. Please open and harmonize. Forehead. Please open and harmonize. Heart. Please open and harmonize. Under the belly button. Please open and harmonize. Crown. Please open and harmonize. And middle of the stomach. Again, please open and harmonize. All right, both hands over the heart. Slow, deep breaths. Let the code process. And I would check your 0 to 10. Note any change and check it again if you can in about 30 minutes. It'll almost certainly be changed in about 30 minutes. And when you're ready, open your eyes. And Johanna, if we have any questions or comments or whatever.
Okay, if you have a question or a comment, you can press *9 on your phone, or raise your hand in the little with the little icon on your screen. And right now I don't see any hands up and I don't see any questions. Oh wait, there's one. Okay, let me see. Oh, we got a couple. Okay, let's see. Bridget, I'm going to open your line. Bridget?
Hello, Dr. Alex and Dr.
Hi,
David,
Bridget.
all the way from
Bridget.
Ireland. I'm just wondering, Dr. Alex, to get full benefit out of the healing codes, do you need to do the healing codes and trilogy both? Do you need to do both, I should say?
No. I mean, we released the Healing Code book in 2009. And Bridget, we've had testimonials for anything you can name: AIDS, cancer, heart disease, depression, anxiety, bipolar, schizophrenia. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just from nothing but the general code in the book. But I mean, if I'm going to do something and invest my time, which to me is valuable, and I think it is for everybody, I want to do the best. Whatever.
Right.
I mean, I want to start there. So if that's what you want to do, then I would do both together. But no, you can absolutely use the healing codes by itself, trilogy by itself. That's fine.
Right. No, I like the healing code, Dr. Alex, and that's what I'd like to stick with And
Sure.
I listen to your trilogy and I do it along with you, but I just find more benefit out of the healing code. I suppose what works for you, just do it, you know.
Right.
But for me, it's the healing code.
You know,
And
and if I could just jump, Bridget, you know, when you get to the point where you feel good about all the categories and everything, then you're just doing it like brushing your teeth every day and running through
Right.
all 12 categories to address all the areas. Are you?
Yes.
Are you doing that?
Well, I try and do the healing code, just the regular healing code, 3 times a day. And I have to say, sometimes I'm very good at focusing on truth statements, and other times my mind wanders, so I don't do it as good as I should. But look at. I do find the healing codes wonderful, and that the last healing code on bitterness, I think I would imagine that everybody suffers with a bit of that, because as Dr. Alex said, it's the root of all illnesses, bitterness and unforgiveness. I think actually Dr. Ben Johnson, who co-wrote the book with you, Dr. Alex, he did say that cancer was a lot of it was down to unforgiveness, and
Yes.
but he didn't say bitterness, but he himself actually cured himself of ALS through the healing codes, which was remarkable. So there are wonderful, as you say, testimonials and reviews of your healing codes, and they do work. So
Yeah.
I want
Oh,
yes,
sorry.
Doctor. No, go ahead. And I want to say thank you very much.
I was just going to say that in answer to your first question, the healing codes were the only thing Ben did when he was working on his ALS. The trilogy did not exist then. So he did that in 6 weeks with the healing codes only.
Right. And Dr. Alex, did he use just the basic healing code, or was it a specific?
He was getting custom ones from me.
Right. Okay.
Every
Very
week.
good. Every week. That is remarkable. I mean, as you say, it took him 6 weeks to cure himself of, ALS is, it's a serious illness. So, I mean,
it's a death sentence.
Yeah, death sentence is right. Correct. And that was remarkable. So, yes, your healing codes do work, and it's fantastic. And I want to say thank you. I look forward to this meeting every Wednesday, the Zoom meeting. And I want to say thank you very much, Dr. Alex.
Well,
and Dr. David.
Hey, it's my pleasure, but I'm easy. The guy in the green in the middle is the one that we should all be honored that he's
Yes.
here. I mean, he is like top of the mountain in the MD profession, and I still can't believe that he's willing to do this with me, but I'm so grateful.
I'm learning. I'm a healing code noob. You're the man.
Johanna, I can stay for maybe 1 or 2 more minutes if we want to try to get April.
Okay. Yeah. April, go ahead and unmute your phone.
Hi. So, any suggestions how to approach the leadership of my church about this? I was thinking show them the video. It's kind of long, or I could show them, like, you guys had like a short video, I think, or there's actually, here's something. I've actually had lunch with kind of one of their small groups, but it's a huge small group. It's a men's group that's over 100 strong now. They've had to break off into other groups. And those guys, we get to talk about it, not every Sunday after church, but a lot of times we've talked about, and it always goes to the energy conversation. It always goes to the healing conversation. So I don't know.
Hey,
I guess I'll just be in
April,
prayer about, yes, sir.
April, send me an email and you and I will correspond one-on-one. I've got some stuff that you can get to.
Okay. All right, we'll do.
That's great. That's the kind of stuff that's really encouraging, right?
Yes, right.
Other
Absolutely.
groups, yeah.
And Johanna, I'm going to have to go. I apologize. And I'm so sorry, everyone, for being late. My link wouldn't work for some reason. So sorry about that. And I love you all. Thank you. Thank you, Dave. Thank you, Johanna.
Thank you, Alex.
Okay, Alex. God bless you. God bless you, everybody. Okay, I'm going to stop this part. We're not going to record the next part, which is where if you